Good afternoon, dear students. As a part of learning industrial engineering subject, in the previous classes we came to familiar that the topic acceptance sampling and different sampling methods. Today we are going to take up the topics elements of costing, calculation of selling price of a product, fundamentals of estimation and depreciation. The depreciation is the topic which comes under the elements of costing only. To have a clear discussion you have taken at the end of the today's topic. First we are going to see the elements of costing. Costing is the system in which accurately recording each and every expenditure in order to in order to determine the cost of the manufacturing of an item. The actual definition, cost is defined as the process of calculating the cost of an article or a product in order to fix up the selling price of a product. So, in order to fix up any selling price of a product, we are going to see this as an important topic in which we are going to discuss the elements of costing. So, actually let us see what are the objectives of this costing, or we say that as a cost auditing. The aims and objectives we are going to see in this now. First the objective is to determine the actual cost of the product. So, in this we are going to fix up actual cost of the product in this cost accounting. Second one, to determine the selling price of the product, So, with this cost accounting we are going to determine the selling price of any product. So, third one, we are going to detect wastage and undesirable expenditure and thus suggestive corrective measures. So, what does it says? So, we are going to find out the wastage in the production process. Okay? Then we are going to also find out the undesirable expenditure with which we can remove or suggest the corrective measures. So, this is the important one, and also to effect cost control. With this cost accounting we can also control the cost of the any product. Okay. So, these are the aims and objectives of the cost accounting. So, actually we are going to see the elements of costing. So, in this actually a manufacturing organization is concerned with converting raw material into final product with the help of labor and direct certain services in order to compute the cost of the each of these factors. The cost of the manufacturing a product is subdivided into what are known as the elements of the cost. So, in this actually what we are going to do in any manufacturing concern, we are going to what we are doing we are going to convert the raw material into the final finished product, for which we require labor as well as some other services which are going, for which what are the factors which are affecting. So, for those we are going to see under elements of costing. Okay. So, these are broadly classified into three categories. One is direct material and direct labor, or we can say material cost, then labor cost, the final one is the expenditure. Okay. We are going to see what is actually material cost. It is the cost of the product, material, or the cost of the commodities supplied to the an enterprise. So, it is the cost of the product material, that is for manufacturing any product you require certain raw material. So, raw material as well as certain commodities also require apart from manufacturing in your enterprise, whatever they are going to be supplied, for that cost what is we are calculating is called material cost. Next we will go to the labor cost. It is the cost of the workforce, that is the remuneration paid in the form of wages, okay, then salaries, commission and bonus, etc. So, for labor cost is the cost of the workforce, that is in any organization there are several employees, they are going to be work. So, the cost is towards the remuneration paid in return of their services in the form of wages, salaries and commission and bonus in the at the time of festivals, etc. So, all those put together will get labor cost. Next we go to the expenses. It is the cost of the services provided. It is the cost of the services provided to the enterprise and notional cost of the concerned assets or utilization of owned cost or owned assets. So, it is the cost of the services provided to the enterprise. Whatever the services in the form of various things we are providing to the enterprise or an organization, as well as notional cost of the usage of the assets, permanent assets, whatever the this organization is having, for that also whatever we are using, that is comes under expenses. So, we will see in detail about what is actually material cost. So, the material cost is broadly divided into two groups, that is direct material cost and indirect material cost. Okay. Next we will see in detail what is actually direct material cost. It is the prime cost of a product. In the manufacturing of any product, the direct material cost is the, or it is the major cost of the product. Okay. So, the definition for which is the material which becomes a part of the product manufactured is called direct material cost, or direct material, the cost incurred for that direct material is called direct material cost. So, if you take up any product, in that one we are going to take up a raw material. Take for example, an example of a steel utensil, for which you require certain raw materials, say steel. So, the material steel is called for that utensil is called direct material, the cost for that steel is called direct material cost. Okay. Or if you take one more example of the cost of the steel in HSS tool bit, in a HSS means high speed steel tool bit we are going to use for turning operation and several other operations, for which we require, it is HSS means it is an alloy of steel, in which we are going to use steel as a basic metal. So, that steel whatever we are seeing comes under direct material, and that cost is for we are calling as direct material cost. And one more example is the cost of the wood that we are going to use in wooden furniture. Okay. So, this calculation of this direct material cost, so done by calculating the volume of the material that we are going to use, that by dividing the component drawing into several known geometrical shape such as a rectangle, a triangle, so many so forth. By dividing that known geometrical shape, then multiply with the density of that particular product, then we can obtain the weight. So, by multiplying the weight of that by the cost of material per kg, we will be getting cost of that direct material cost. So, we will go to the indirect material cost. What is the indirect material cost? Let us see first. It is the cost of the material which does not become a part of the final product, but it is necessary for the production process. You take any material such as cotton waste or grease, lubrication, oils and sandpapers. You find all these things in each and every organization of production process. These they does not become a part of final production. Say we are manufacturing a steel shaft. In this one, you don't, in the final product of steel shaft, you don't find cotton waste in the final production, or you don't find anything, any cotton waste or grease on the part of the final product being made. So, such material such as this cotton waste, grease, lubrication oil and sandpapers, these are only essential during the manufacturing of a production process. So, such material are called indirect material cost, and the cost associated in this indirect material is called indirect material cost. Okay. So, we will go to the direct labor cost. We will see what is the direct labor cost. We already discussed direct labor is one who converts the direct material into the saleable product. Okay. He is directly employed in any production process. That means the direct labor is a person, say employees of different organizations. Say take any production engineering process where the different people are, say workers of different cadres, they are going to work, they are in charge of converting the raw material into final product. So, the salaries given to them or the cost of their remuneration paid to the direct labor is called direct labor cost. For example, a turner is a employee working on in any production process on a lathe machine. So, the turner as well as machinist is a person who is going to work on milling machine. So, the salaries, the remuneration paid towards these people are called direct labor cost. Okay. Next, we will see certain consideration which are taking into consideration of calculation of direct labor cost. So, in the calculation of direct labor cost, we have to consider several factors. One is setup time, that is we have to load unload the work and tool on a particular machine on which machining is going on done. Next, operation time. Okay, that operation time is subdivided into handling time and machining time. Next, you can go for tear downtown. Tear downtown is the time in which we are going to clean the machine and again loading and unloading the tools and some jigs and fixtures. Next, miscellaneous allowance, which will be almost 15% of the total time of manufacturing time. In this one, we can see several allowances, that miscellaneous allowances we can see in the form of personal allowances, that is around 55% of the total time, total manufacturing time. These attending is natural calls while doing manufacturing, as well as by taking drinking water or tea, etc., which counts as 5% of the total time. Next, fatigue allowance. By continuously working, you will be tired, so you will be allowed around 5% of that total manufacturing cost. Next, tool changing and checking, etc. So, all these things after doing all these things we can show in the form of timesheet. Timesheet we can see date and it is a tabular form in which we can find date of that particular operation, department, say production or sub assembly, whatever it might be, and workers name and workers number. In this one columns we are going to see work order number, date of or dispatch of description of particular work done, time, setup time, how much time, then final time, and total time required for this one, as well as remuneration of that work and total amount we are going to see in this time sheet. Next, expenses. Say expenses already we have seen, it is a part of apart from material cost and labor cost, any other cost in that is going to take up in a factory. So, that are served as other expenses. So, that are accountable in the calculation of the price of that product. So, in this expenses are nothing but these are the apart from cost of the material and total cost of labor, apart from material and labor cost, the other cost in any factory that comes under expenses. For example, cost of a special layouts. So, in any production process we are required of certain special layouts and certain designs which cannot be done in the factory itself. We can get it done outside. The cost incurred for that one is called comes under expenses, as well as we can hire certain special layouts and equipment, as well as certain depreciation charges of the plants as well as building. We know what is the depreciation. It is the reduction in the cost of that particular machine or equipment. We are going to see this topic at the end of this lesson. Cost of transportation of different amenities in the factory. Okay. The expenses are subdivided into two categories, direct expenses and indirect expenses. Okay. What is let us see what is direct expenses. So, direct expenses are the expenses that are chargeable directly to a particular product. So, the expenses we are going to keep for directly a product, they include any expenditure other than direct material and direct labor. So, the expenditure whatever we are going to keep other than direct material and direct labor and a particular cost of unit, that comes under direct expenses. The such are example we can see cost of the special layouts of a drawing that prepared for a specific job. For example, a particular specialized job is given to an industry. For that one, the industry does not or may not have the layouts required for that one. They can get it from outside. The cost incurred for that one is called comes under this direct expenses, as well as the charges of specialized machines as well as equipment required for this complete to complete this particular job. Next, cost of the special patterns are jigs and fixtures. So, whatever the cost is required for these things comes under direct expenses. In addition to this one, cost of the equipment, that cost comes under direct expenses. In addition to this one, we are going to have cost of the defective work. So, say a particular product is done in a different manner or than the specialized manner. So, that material goes waste, that cost also we comes under direct expenses. And in addition to this one, we are going to have transportation charges of material from one place to other places, they comes under expenses. So, we will see indirect expenses are we also going to call this as overheads. So, these overheads or indirect expenses are all these expenses cover and above and over and above direct material and indirect material and direct expenses. That means, the expenses other than this direct material cost and indirect it is direct labor and direct expenses are comes under indirect expenses or overheads. So, they will for example, will take building rents. If you take up any industrial organization, the building also sometimes they will take rents. So, the rent of certain buildings and depreciation charges of buildings and machinery comes under this one, indirect expenses. Next, insurance premium. So, insurance premium may be insurance done to the buildings as well as the machinery. So, that expenses whatever comes under indirect expenses. Next, stationery and postal and telegraphic bills incurred for that particular industrial organization, they comes under indirect expenses. Okay. These overheads broadly classified into factory overheads as well as the overheads, they comes under building and building already we have seen rent and insurance and depreciation charges, and indirect charges it is required for the salaries of supervisors or foremans, remuneration of machine setters, etc. comes under indirect expenses. So, next administrative expenses. So, these are the salaries given to the people as well as distribution and overheads. These are the cost incurred to the warehousing and cost of transportation. Next, we will see the research and development overheads. So, all these things we can show in this particular manner, in a tabular manner. In this we can see all the direct material, direct labor and direct expenses or we can say this is a prime cost of a product. To that, if we add up this factory overheads, we say that factory cost or this factory cost. To that, if we add up administrative overheads, we can say this is the total cost of the product. To that, we add sales and distribution overheads, we will get this selling price of a product. To that, if we add up profit, we will get marketing or MRP price. So, this tabular shows the calculation of selling cost of any product. If you take up an example of a bottle of 300 ml of Pepsi bottle, that is the cost of that product is around 10 rupees, but the cost of liquid, the manufacturing cost of liquid is around 2 to 3 rupees. The remaining charges we are going to pay, that is the major cost we are going to pay towards sales and distribution charges. So, they are nothing but their cost is involved in advertising agencies or for example, if you see take up any product, the manufacturer will be involved by utilizing the famous personalities. If we take up the specialized people are cricketers and film personalities. For those people they have to pay a lot of things. With this we can the manufacturers are increasing lot of amount in addition to that actual manufacturing cost. Okay. Now, we are going to another topic, fundamentals of estimation. So, in this one what is actually it is defining. So, it is estimation is the calculation of probable cost of the product. It is actually manufactured. So, what actually in order to calculate the cost of the product, what we are doing is called estimation. Okay, for which the same thing we can do in a proper manner. It is estimation is the process of determining the quantities and values of the parts and assemblies that constitutes the final product. In any production process, we are involved in several things. So, we have to manufacture the cost of various parts and as well as the assemblies of those parts those all put together will become the cost of all those things put together will get the cost of a product. So, we will see the objectives of estimation. What actually in estimation is going to be, why we are going to do the estimation, we will see that one. So, in any industrial organization, to establish selling price of a product and selling policies of the concerned organization. That means, in order to fix up any selling price of any product as well as the policies of selling policies to be decided, that can be done by estimation. So, next, to ascertain whether proposed product can be manufactured and marketed profitably and thus assess economic soundness of the enterprise. So, you know that actually this estimation is done before production process is going to be done. To take up any production process or to manufacture any product, that in this one, whether that product is can be manufactured and it can be easily saleable in the market, for that one whatever the estimation is going to help those whether to take up that production process or not, or manufacturing that particular product, as well as to suggest to improvement or modification of the design. So, the already product is existing in the market. So, maybe the sales of that particular product may not be that much what I can say good at their concern. So, in order to improve their sales, how best we can change the design. So, this can also be done by using this estimation, as well as also to suggest improvement or modification of design of that particular product, to determine the most economic process of the manufacturing, to also find out by eliminating unwanted production methods, we can also find out a better production process by using this estimation. It is also used to suggest the proper usage of tooling, material and equipment. It also help us to use better tooling as well as the equipment. Next, to determine overheads. What are the overheads that can also be done by this estimation. So, let us see now functions of estimation, what actually it is doing. So, this can be done to submit tenders, to deal with an inquiry prior to acceptance of a new product or new contract. So, in order to get a new one, we have to submit tenders. That includes actually the calculation of the cost of the material needed for that manufacturing of that product, as well as finding out parts to be purchased from outside suppliers. In any manufacturing concern, you need not to manufacture each and every product of your own. So, you have to get it from outside. So, for that can also a part of estimation. Find out the tools and manufacturing machinery required and jigs and fixtures to be purchased from outside. Okay. For fixation of profits as well as the selling price of any product, this is one more function of a product, this estimation. To form basis for the cost control, to decide upon most economical methods of the manufacturing. So, out of unwanted several methods, you can eliminate some unwanted or unused methods, so that you can find or you can decide economical methods of manufacturing. To maintain records of present and previous cost estimate of this company. Okay. Next, estimation and costing. What actually estimation? Estimation is done, it is the calculation of the factory cost of a product before it is actually being manufactured. So, estimation is done before the manufacturing of any product, whereas you will see costing. It is done, it is the actual cost of the actual cost is incurred of the product after the product is manufactured, that is costing is done after the manufacturing. Okay. Next, constants of the estimates. So, there are design time is required and drafting time, then planning and production time, then designing and manufacturing of specialized tools and equipment, and experimental work is required. Designing time, let us see the designing time. Designing time is the time that is required for the preparation of the drawings of that particular product. Then we will see the drafting time. Drafting time is the time taken by the draftsman by taking out several part drawings of several parts and sub assemblies and several assemblies which are required to various shops. The time or the required for those putting together, we can say drafting time. And planning and production. So, in this one we have to decide what is the type and quality and cost of the product is manufactured. We have to decide. For that one, we have to whom the work is to be assigned, and proper routing of that production is to be done, and scheduling of that production is done. That comes under the cost estimate. Next, procuring of special tools and equipment. So, we may not have that particular enterprise may not have the specialized tools and equipment. We have to get it from outside. So, the time required for that one and the cost involved in that one comes under cost estimate. Next, experimental work. So, after deciding all these things, material and labor and overheads, we can check the trial run. We have to see the experimental part of those what you have done in theoretical. So, with that we can come to conclusion of cost estimate. Next, depreciation. This is the one more important topic. What actually, let us see the depreciation. So, depreciation is the reduction in the value of the what I can say effective economic life of a product arising from the passage of the time, wear and tear, etc. What actually depreciation? Let us see. Depreciation is the reduction in the value of the that effective economic life. So, say if you take purchase a machine automobile for 50,000 rupees today. So, after 4 to 5 years the cost may not be that much 50,000. Every year the cost of that bike will be goes on reducing. So, that cost reduction in the value of that cost or the bike say passage of time or maybe due to wearing and tearing of that movable parts of that bike. So, whatever that cost is going to reduce is called depreciation. Okay. So, these causes for the depreciation already we discussed. It may be due to the wearing and tearing. What is the wearing and tear? Reduction in the size of that movable parts. If you take a cutting tool, so for every new operation we are going on sharpening the tools. What happens in that one? So, that tool gets size in. So, we can sharpen the unused part of that tool. So, that is similar to that we can use that is due to the wearing and tearing. Next, passage of time. As the time goes on, as I said an example of a bike, for every year certain cost is going to be reduced. So, like that passage of time, as the time goes on for every year the cost of that particular product goes on reducing. Next, due to accidents and defective material also the cost gets or the depreciation comes under. Let us see the methods of depreciation. So, there are several methods of which there I have taken 5 important methods of depreciation. The first one is straight line method, second one is production unit method, third one is reducing balance method, annuity method, and final one is sinking fund method, and the sixth one is sum of years digit methods. Okay. Let us see the first method, straight line method. In this one, this is actually in this method equal proportions of cost of equipment is written off. That means, for every year the certain cost every year, that is first year, second year, third year, the certain cost is going to be reduced from the actual cost of that product. So that says this method. So in this method we also call this fixed installment method also we can call as. We can also compute, and this is we can compute and depreciation by using this formula. Depreciation is equal to D C minus S by N, whereas the C is the cost of the asset, S is the scrap value of the useful life, and N is the number of years of useful life. By using this product this formula D is equal to C minus N by N, we can calculate the depreciation. So second we will go to the production unit method. This method actually is used to production process. It is it says about a particular machine. The machine goes on manufacturing several products. By manufacturing certain certain production, the after manufacturing these after manufacturing certain items, the machine is going to be depreciated. So depreciation rate is calculated per unit of production. In this one also we can see the formula D is equal to C minus S by N, whereas depreciation, D is the rate of depreciation, C is the initial cost, and S is the scrap value of the end of the useful life, and N is the number of units produced on particular machine per production hours. Okay. Third one we are going to see reducing balance method. So in this method this is also called as diminishing balance method. In this method each year a fixed percentage of the balance outstanding at the beginning of the year is deducted as depreciation. That means for in the every beginning of the year certain fixed percentage of the outstanding is going to be deducted from the total value. In this one we can see C is the initial cost of the asset, S is the scrap value, P is the fixed percentage of the depreciation, N is the useful life. We can find out the P, that is fixed percentage of the depreciation, by using 1 minus S by C whole to the power of 1 by N. So depreciation we can find out C by P plus R into P into 1 plus R whole power 1 minus whole power N. So this is a accurate method, but it is very difficult in calculation. So we can see particular depreciations by using these three important methods. We can calculate this depreciation by taking a simple problem. The problem says a particular machine cost initially 2 lakhs rupees. Its salvage or scrap while or scrap value be 50,000 rupees. After successful service for 10 years, what should be the rate of the depreciation for that machine? We can calculate this one. So by using the formula, let us see the initial value C is 2 lakhs and S is 50,000 rupees, that is scrap value, and service life is 10 years. Rate of depreciation, by using this formula we can calculate it and we will get the value as 50,000 rupees, that is depreciation. Okay students, with this we have finished our topics of estimation, elements of costing, calculation of selling price of the product, and fundamentals of estimation, and depreciation, and various methods. Let us have question and answer methods. Any students, you can ask any questions as you like. Meanwhile, let us recollect what are the constants of the elements of costing. So there are altogether three types of three constants of the elements of costing. One is material cost, labor cost, and expenses. Again we can divide that material cost as direct material cost, indirect material cost. Labor also, direct labor and indirect labor. Expenses also we can divide into several categories, or broadly direct expenses and indirect expenses. And we can also find out the selling price of the product, of any product. Selling price of the any product, it is the summation of selling price of the product is the summation of direct material cost, direct labor cost, direct expenses. Then we can add up all these things, we can get selling price of any product. Okay. In addition to this one, we also seen the depreciation, different methods of depreciation. So with this we are going to finish up the topics of today. We will see in the next class with another new topic.